are these people?
The Jewish army, no, the Zionist army,
Jewish rapscallion?
No, the Christian and Jewish Zionist army and Arab Zionist army shot and killed a 12-year-old boy, Mohammed Bardawil, a key eyewitness to the paramedic massacre investigation. Mohammed was the sole survivor witness to the presence of Major Nikolai Ashurov and Israeli tanks during the execution of UN staff member Mr. Shatut. They executed this boy, 12 years old. Fuck Israel. That's where we're going to start. Next, I want to give a big shout out to UN Special Rapporteur on what's her title?
Albanese.
Yeah, on genocide. Francesca Albanese.
Yeah.
She says, as massacres and escalations and survivors dwindle, as massacres in Gaza escalate and survivors dwindle, I've made a decision. I will walk out of interviews that ask if I believe the figures from Gaza, as if incinerated children require proof and their numbers mattered. Also, if scores of journalists were murdered, who's left to independently verify? Oh yeah, also if they bombed every hospital and destroyed the Gaza Health Ministry, how the hell are they supposed to have any kind of count? Asking such questions is not journalism.
You can fuck.
Yep. Off. Yeah, that's right. Asking such questions is not journalism. It's armchair ideology in a flak jacket. Amen, Francesca Albanese. Support, and she's always under attack by the Zionists, so support her. This one I didn't see anywhere else but Dan Cohen so far. The Israel Defense Magazine confirms that Israel is attacking Gaza with a new and unknown weapon system called Zikit 3. Markings were published indicating it's part of an advanced system, possibly originating from a missile, guided bomb, or unmanned aerial vehicle. Gaza is a laboratory for genocide, exported around the world as quote-unquote battle-tested. And I'll try to blow this up. I don't know if I can. No, I can't. I'll read it out. In photos published on social media in the Gaza Strip, a metallic component was seen among the rubble of a bombed building, bearing markings that indicate a direct connection to the Israeli Air Force. The component, which appears relatively intact, has an identification plate that includes manufacturer details, a serial number, and an internal Israeli Air Force number, and a production date. On the plate, the name Zikit 3, which is chameleon, is inscribed, along with the part number, serial number, this. I don't need that in that data. This is a recently
manufactured on there.
No, the production date, though, was February of 2025. This is a recently manufactured component, which was likely used in an airstrike within Gaza, within the Strip. The images published by a local blogger named Hamza al-Masri show the component lying among broken concrete, stones, and electrical wires, illuminated by a flashlight at the site of the destruction. In one image, the identification plate is clearly visible. In another, the metallic body itself is shown, gray in color and resembling part of a guidance or stabilization system for a precision weapon. Again, this is from the Israeli Defense Magazine themselves. The component's name is not known as part of any previously reported weapon system. At this stage, no official response has been issued by the IOF spokesperson or any Israeli security officials. The fact that this production date is February of 2025 indicates that it's a relatively new weapon manufactured this year. Its discovery in the Gaza Strip suggests it was used operationally in recent months. The component bears markings indicating it is part of an advanced system, possibly originating, like you said, from a missile-guided bomb or UAV, which is a drone. This clearly legible identification details preserved on the component allow for a direct connection to the Israeli Air Force, as indicated by the internal number. Because they use IAF number on the stamping. The presence of such a component in Gaza provides the first visual documentation of an Israeli weapon previously unknown to the public, which was likely used in the most recent strikes in the area. Thanks, guys.
Inconceivable.
Thanks, guys. Really appreciate all that money, funding, and weaponry you're providing to these motherfuckers to commit genocide.
Serenity now!
Next, we got a Dave DeCamp article out of Antiwar. Israelis, and this was May 15th. So this was already 3 days ago, and they pounded the Gaza Strip nonstop for 3 days. And I'm going to report on that and bring stuff more about this. The Israeli military has intensified its attacks on Gaza amid President Trump's visit to the region. What a surprise. At least 100. Yeah, they played head fake. All right, again, at least 143 Palestinians were killed by Israeli attacks in Gaza on Thursday, Al Jazeera reported, as the Israeli military has intensified its strikes on the besieged territory amid Trump's visit to the region. At least 16 more have been killed early Friday morning, Gaza time, as Israel continues to ramp up attacks, suggesting the Israeli military has started the next phase of its genocidal war. Yes. And then they're going to follow up with a ground invasion, allegedly. Health officials told Al Jazeera at least 61 killed in a barrage of attacks in Khan Yunis. Heavy Israeli strikes were also reported in Jabalia, northern Gaza, for the second day. They just hit the whole area. According to the Palestinian news agency Wafa, at least 15, including 11 children and 1 woman, were killed by the strikes in Jabalia. Photos and videos from Gaza on Thursday show many children among the casualties. Yeah. Wafa also reported that among those killed in Khan Yunis was a journalist named Ahmad al-Halou. Based on a previous report from Wafa, al-Halou's killing brings the total number of journalists then, by Thursday, killed to 213. We're up to 222 today. Gaza's health ministry said Thursday that the European hospital in Khan Yunis was out of service due to a recent Israeli attack, which targeted the outside of the facility with bunker-busting bombs. Because, sure, they need to build the Ben Gurion Canal one way or another, right? The Israeli military claimed it targeted an underground Hamas command and control center, but, of course, provided no evidence. We made it up. Secret tunnel. And an analysis from Sky News contradicted the claim. Quote, the attack caused significant damage to the infrastructure, including sewage lines, damage to internal departments, and destruction of the roads leading to the hospital. Exactly Israel's intent, the health ministry wrote on Telegram. According to Al Jazeera, Israeli attacks on Thursday also targeted the Al-Wada hospital in Jabalia and the Indonesian hospital in Khan Yunis. Internationals, they don't give a fuck. If you're trying to patch up any Palestinians, they're trying to kill you. The latest violence in Gaza comes as Israel continues to maintain a total blockade on the Strip, blocking all goods from entering, regardless of what all these Zionist fucking liars say. Okay, Dave has it right, which has been imposed since March 2nd. The World Health Organization said Tuesday that 57 children have starved to death since the blockade was imposed. You're going on almost 100 days of absolute siege. Nothing in. This came from Mahmoud Bassam also on Thursday evening. The bombing on the Gaza Strip has been ongoing for 3 hours without pause, with unprecedented intensity, as if it's the first day of the war. Explosions shake the ground, smoke fills the sky, and the scene brings back memories of those early days we thought had passed. Gaza's bleeding once again, and the world continues to merely watch. It's disgraceful. Ghost Art says 500 slaughtered the last 72 hours. Here's Mondoweiss, and this was
mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
This was Friday morning at 11:15. Israel has killed more than 250 Palestinians in Gaza in 48 hours. Oh. And then they're going to claim, well, that's not genocide because it's only 250 people. These motherfuckers. Well, they're adding to their numbers, right? As we're dropping bombs on them and making them run for their fucking lives. This was this morning. 5 journalists, 3 along with their families, have been killed in an Israeli bombing of Gaza since midnight. May their memories be a blessing. That was this morning. Yeah. This clown, an innocent mother and her 2 babies killed by Gaza terrorists. There are no... What? Where? They're all running for their lives.
Is a mockery of morality.
I'll take shit that never happened for 1,000, Alex. Get the fuck out of here. They don't even allow them to mourn their fucking dead in peace. Look what they did to Shireen's fucking funeral.
Abu Akleh. Yeah. I remember. We covered that.
Yeah, we did.
Which was fucking wild.
Issa Amro. We covered a couple weeks ago how the IDF stood by while his neighbors, or while the Israeli settlers that are taking over the West Bank, destroying land and taking over houses, were fucking with him and cut up his tree and stole his tools. Well, they've been ramping up their attacks. All right. So he posted this, that last night the Israeli settlers attacked my house with stones. They came at 4 a.m. to throw stones. Wait, I thought throwing stones was like an offense worthy of putting people in jail for 10 years, because that's what they do to the
or worse,
the Palestinians.
No, it allows you to kill children. If children throw stones at you, you're allowed to shoot them. That's what happens in this country. So, are they burning a cross on this dude's front lawn? Is that what's happening?
Effectively, no. Well, it might as well be. No, they're setting his tree on fire, his land on fire. He says, last night, Israeli settlers attacked my house with stones. They came at 4 a.m. to throw stones and make fire on my family land, chanting about the death of my brother and wishing that I will die or be killed too. Before that, Israeli army came to make sure that I'm alone in the house. It's the reality of the Israeli occupation and apartheid. So let's listen to these motherfucking jerk-offs and listen. Children, these are children at 4 o'clock in the morning setting fire to this guy's land. And listen to this. This is indoctrination. These children were brainwashed from birth.
Cult shit.
Yes, the soldiers were there to protect the settlers. That's right, Desert Mantis. Wow, we got a super chat? Oh my God. Stephen R., thank you.
$100 from Stephen R., appreciate you.
Damn, bro. Many self-claimed leftists
YouTube's cut.
Promote every fake tension between Trump and Netanyahu as if it's even real. Easier to put your legs up and stop protesting if you pretend that Trump... I don't know what. Cut off there. That Trump is fighting anything or is gonna... wasn't a tool.
Yeah.
They're like using it. It's like, you should die is what they're saying.
Yeah.
Thank you, Stephen. Really appreciate you.
Appreciate you, fam.
So this is what Issa's dealing with at 4 o'clock in the morning, and it just goes on and on and on. And the IDF is standing there watching these kids do this and protecting them to make sure that, heaven forbid, he came out to try. Now, first of all, there are 20 of them. They would just start throwing rocks at him, and he'd end up in the hospital. So he's staying inside. They're breaking his windows. They're setting fire to his land. This has 1 million views. Thankfully.
The Nazis changed, but they never went away.
Eva Bartlett, I'm glad you're okay, Issa, but damn, they are hideous. Yeah, they certainly are. But it's not done there. Here's the head fake.
Posted something else about it, if I can find it.
Here's the head fake about Trump's personal negotiator, Steve Witkoff, told mediators the U.S. isn't going to force Israel to end the Gaza slaughter, even after they got the American kid out, who certainly looks a lot healthier than a lot of the people that have been let out of the Israeli prisons, let me tell you. They won't let him speak, from what I understand. What a surprise. U.S. won't force Israel to end the Gaza slaughter. Netanyahu is refusing to end his genocidal war and has vowed it will continue even if more hostages are released. Another Dave DeCamp. Dave DeCamp, by the way, Indie Media Award honoree, as is Antiwar.com. Support Dave, support Antiwar. Dave said he's going to be starting to do some stuff on Substack. Hopefully he chooses to do that. So Dave writes
Come
that...
to a Substack newsletter near you.
No, not Rachel. No, we can't have that. No. Okay. U.S. Middle East envoy Steve Witkoff has told Arab mediators that the U.S. will not force Israel to end its genocidal war in the Gaza Strip. Womp, womp. The report, which cited Arab officials and has said Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu was staunchly refusing to end military operations in Gaza, a position he made clear in public comments as the Israeli military is preparing a major escalation. Again, this was 3 days ago. Not really that much of a surprise, except that Trump could make him do that now, right now. He could literally call up Bibi in the middle of the night and say, you motherfucker, cut the bombs off right now, or we're going to start fucking shooting Israelis. They would stop right now.
That won't happen.
That's right. But that's what it's going to take. It's going to take somebody threatening to kill Israelis and then actually having to do it before they do it. And Israel may kill whoever threatens them. They have Where's Daddy?
Rule of acquisition.
The 76.
Every once in a while, declare peace. It confuses the hell out of your enemies.
Well, that's what they did. That's exactly what they did in letting that kid out. All right. We in the coming days will be entering with all our strength to complete the process to subdue Hamas, even though he knows that it's not about Hamas. All right. It could be that Hamas will say, pause. We want to release another 10 hostages. Okay, release them. We will receive them. And then after, why would you release them then? But there will not be a situation where we stop the war. There is no war. It's only a slaughter and a massacre. War is when you could potentially get hit and lose, and there's some kind of an equal footing. War is not everybody. One side has all the tanks and all the money, and the other side has none. And right of the travel, passport. Bibi's allowed to fly around the world. Nobody's allowed to leave Gaza. But it's a war. The Times report also cited a source who was present at the meeting with Witkoff that Witkoff held with the family members of Israeli captives held in Gaza last week. Of course, they guaranteed said that it's Bibi's fault that they're not out yet. The source said that Witkoff largely agreed with the position of Arab mediators that Israel's plan to escalate will not be effective. For whom? At another meeting with hostage families this week, Witkoff was pressed on why the U.S. didn't force Israel to stop. We're not the Israeli government. We don't disagree. The Israeli government is a sovereign government. They can't tell us what to do, and we can't tell them what to do. Gaslighting motherfucker. Israel's military operations in Gaza are entirely reliant on U.S. military aid, meaning the U.S. has the ability to pressure Netanyahu to end the slaughter and allow humanitarian aid into Gaza at minimum which has been under total Israeli blockade again since March 2nd.
Are we the baddies?
According to the Times report, Witkoff is now proposing a deal for a weeks-long ceasefire that lets Israel reload, that would release a few captives. Hamas's position is that it's willing to free all the hostages at once in exchange for a permanent ceasefire and a releasing of all of the Palestinian hostages in Israeli prisons, like 10,000 of them or more. Witkoff has insisted that during the week-long truce, the U.S. would ensure, and you know that there's never been a truce. Israel's never once ceased fire. Even during the ceasefire, they killed over 100 Palestinians. The U.S. would ensure Israel entered talks on a lasting deal. But Hamas is unlikely to agree to an agreement without an upfront commitment to a permanent truce. Israel was supposed to end, no, not just a permanent truce, but a permanent exiting of the space. Get the fuck out. Stop stealing our land. They've already moved the line in 1.5 miles all along. We covered that a couple weeks ago. Israel was supposed to enter talks under permanent ceasefire under the deal that was signed in January, but of course they welched on that deal too. So why the fuck would you accept any deal that they made? I can't say fuck Israel enough.
You better say free Palestine.
We will definitely not be remonetized by YouTube. And you know what? I don't care. Yeah, my channel is until YouTube figures it out and turns me off. Don't give them I love you, Steve. Thank you. You just gave YouTube $30 out of that 100. I wish you got one of those other ways.
Yep.
Cash App, Kofi, PayPal,
Cash App,
INN newsletter. All those ways get us at least 90% of the money, if not more. 88% with Kofi with the Substacks.
Comes up on stream.
Substacks. We give up 10% to Substack and then another 2% to Stripe, so it's 12% on Substack.
Substack newsletter.
PayPal, if you do it as friends and family, no fees at all. Kofi, it's like 5%. Cash App, no fees at all. YouTube, 30% fee. Rumble Rant, 50% fee. Rumble channel subscription. Rumble channel subscription. Now they're taking even a few percentage points. Allegedly, they used to give you 100%. They stopped doing that. Allegedly, I haven't checked.
Fraud Squad, hold it, sister.
Support independent media, kids, because we need it more than ever. And I love you. And have a good night, fam.
Keep listening to what boats have to tell you.
No, we just fucking lost the stream.
Can't keep giving us nothing and think we're bluffing about coming for your heads. Why play civil if you won't listen? 50,000 died, and now we know our mission. We form a militia, make Congress a prison.